my name's Hannah. I'm a junior in civil engineering, and I'm in the CEE 300 Spring 2016 Dr. Seeger class right now. I have a Colby A of 7724, meaning I'm like most people in the class. I'm an insistent fact finder. I really like to organize things, don't handle risk very well. With Colby A, I found that really interesting and kind of fun that we got to start off class with that, and it actually really helped a lot as a junior. I was really looking for an internship this spring, and I actually had several interviews, and so knowing my Colby A helped me recognize that things about me that I feel like are weaknesses can actually be perceived as strengths, particularly my 2 in Quick Start, which I initially thought, well, I'm not very innovative, why would someone want an engineer like that? Actually, I handle risk very well. I stick with what's known. I'm really comfortable with that. I'll follow the rules and play by the rules, which is a desirable aspect of me. And so knowing my Colby A and understanding myself a little bit better really helps me be able to go into those interviews with more confidence and help me develop as a professional in that aspect. And it was also very helpful with Tech Report 1 particularly. I was kind of not sure how that was going to work out because with group projects in the past, I kind of just always feel like I end up not enjoying my group and feeling like I'm the one doing all the work. But this actually was really great. I ended up in a group with a lot of different people, a wonderful group, and everyone was kind of just doing what they felt comfortable doing. And now I understand how we all kind of just balanced each other out, and it worked out. I was doing the research that I really liked to do, other people were organizing, and I was helping organize, and then the really good quick starts that we had, which for my group was Jaden and Mariana, went in there and made things really interesting and did the sensitivity analysis and things like that. So I actually had a really good group project experience in this class. The thing I wanted to talk about was Twitter, because I didn't have a Twitter before this class, and I thought it was interesting that that's considered a professional platform. I wouldn't have guessed that at all. It was really helpful, though, just keeping track of what's going on in class. I mean, I liked to multitask a lot in class, too, always on my computer, so it helped to go back, look through the tweets, and see what was going on in class that morning, because people would always be quoting Seeger, which is nice. The most important takeaway from this class, I think, would be the ethical discussions that we had, and I found those incredibly helpful, even though we spent a lot of time on it, because you can look at the codes, the ASPE and NSPE codes of ethics, and kind of just look at those canons, the fundamental canons, and just think, yeah, that seems pretty straightforward. Like, of course, I'd hold the public health and safety of the and welfare of the people above anything else. Obviously, I would do that. Obviously, I'm going to issue public statements to the most truthful that I can. Like, it's all very straightforward, and we kind of just, when we're initially looking at it, it almost feels like we glaze over it. So doing the case study of Le Mercier and the Citicorp Tower really emphasized that we're not just going to, like, when we talk about ethics, it's not something that's just black and white. Obviously, there's this huge gray area in there. And exploring the Citicorp case really, really showed that there's not a single answer to anything. Analyzing the Citicorp case was less about whether Le Mercier was right or wrong, or if what he did was ethical or unethical, but more about just understanding that it can be interpreted in different ways, and that maybe in your career as a civil engineer, you're going to come into different situations where you might have to emphasize one of the canons more than another. And I think that going over that case really helps me understand that yeah, like the codes are here and it's all really straightforward, but you're going to have to really be able to interpret those for complex situations, and it's not always going to be a clear answer what you should do or how you should handle it. Another good example of that was the article that we read about communicating your ideas clearly. If you have maybe a technology that fails, you don't want to write it off as completely useless, even though that might be how you feel, because you don't want to completely degrade your company's work or the client or anything like that. but you have to find a way to communicate it effectively so that people know that it doesn't work, because that's where the ethics comes in. That's why I think they use the word initially fruitless, which conveys the truth in there while without completely disregarding the technology behind it. I've talked to a lot of industry professionals, and I mean, we all know that engineers kind of have a hard time communicating things, especially when I'm sitting in a group studying with people and we're talking about really technical concepts. And if you're hanging out with engineering students all the time, you get comfortable with talking about these concepts, and you forget that there are other people out there who are studying other things. And we have to be able to communicate those ideas clearly, and Tech Report 1 and Tech Report 2 also both really helped with that. I mean, almost all the feedback that we got was just that we need to make things more understandable and user-friendly. And that's great. I learned so much about communicating things from this class. I really enjoyed this class. It was a nice break from structures and fluid mechanics and all those really technical, tough courses. And I really took a lot away from this class as a professional. And I gained a lot of confidence for myself. So thank you for a wonderful semester. It's been great.